Good evening, mathematicians. Tonight our learning targets are: I can solve real-world problems involving multiplication of whole numbers and mixed numbers. I can multiply a mixed number by a whole number. And I can compare the size of a product to the size of its factors. Let's get started. Yasmin wants to make a triple batch of tres leches, a typical dessert in Nicaragua, for our class. How much of each ingredient does she need? So here are the ingredients for one tres leches. It serves 6 people, but we want a triple batch. So for one tres leches, she needs 2.5 cups of raisins, 3 tablespoons of oil, 2 eggs, a 1/4 cup of honey, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and 2 1/3 cups of flour. Well, if we know that she wants to triple the recipe, that basically means we need to multiply each ingredient times 3. Now, this is super easy for something like 3 tablespoons of oil. Well, if we need to multiply these 3 tablespoons by 3, we now need 9 tablespoons, and tablespoons is TBSP, which we need 9 tablespoons of oil. And again, it's also super simple for 2 eggs. If we're going to triple the recipe, we're going to multiply these 2 eggs times 3, and she needs 6 eggs. Okay, but it gets a little more complicated when we have fractions and mixed numbers. So let's look here. She needs 2.5 cups of raisins. So the equation would be 2.5 times 3. We know that when we're multiplying a mixed number times a whole number, we want to convert this mixed number into an improper fraction to make it super easy to multiply. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so this turns into 5 halves. Remember, we take that whole number and we put it over 1, because 3 is the same as 3 wholes. Now we can multiply. 5 times 3 is 15. 2 times 1 is 2. We don't want to leave it as an improper fraction. So Yasmin will actually need 7.5 cups of raisins to triple her recipe. All right, let's look down at honey. So we have a 1/4 cup of honey, but we want to triple it. Okay, so we here just have a proper fraction. It's not an improper fraction, but when we multiply it times a whole number, again, it makes it easier to put that whole number over 1. And now it's just a super simple 3 times 1, 4 times 1. She's going to need 3/4, again, here's our units, cups of honey. Now, if we look down here, again, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. This one isn't so bad. Take a 1/2, we triple it, we multiply it times 3. We end up with 3 halves. We can't leave it as improper. She's going to need 1.5 teaspoons, and teaspoon is TSP, 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. Now, if we look down at our last problem, for this recipe, one batch needs 2 1/3 cups of flour, but we're tripling this recipe. So again, we're going to take that mixed number and turn it into an improper fraction. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So it's 7/3 times 3 over 1. And check this out. We can simplify before we multiply to make it super easy. We can divide both 3's by 3 so that each one turns into a 1. And now when we multiply, it's super simple. 7 times 1 is 7. 1 times 1 is 1. So we'll actually need 7 cups of flour to make this recipe. So friends, it's actually pretty simple to multiply a mixed number times a whole number. And I have a challenge for you. Let's find a recipe that we can triple or double or quadruple. And if you can figure out the fractions, we will cook it in school. Happy fraction multiplying!